All right, welcome to another episode of Piecing It Together, the podcast where we take a look at a new movie and try to figure out what movies inspired it. And today on the show, it is another one of our special trailer roundup episodes. We've been doing these for the last couple of months at the beginning of the month, looking ahead to some of the movies that are coming up. And so we don't know for sure if we'll cover all these in full episodes, but we picked 6 of October's releases to do a quick little discussion about based on the trailer and try to guess what puzzle pieces might be involved with these particular movies. So Jason Harris is, of course, joining me again for this one. You know Jason, he's been on the show a bunch, and you also know him from Awesome Movie Year, which you should be listening to. If you're not, make sure to go check out Awesome Movie Year. But he is back again. We had a great time talking about these movies, and I just love adding this little trailer thing to the whole lineup of what Piecing It Together includes, between the Breaking It Apart episodes, the Missing Pieces episodes, special interview ones, and then, of course, just our main episode. So it's great to have all these little extra things to be able to, keep things exciting and interesting and fresh. And I do hope you're enjoying Piecing It Together. I've been getting a lot of great feedback lately. So if you do enjoy the show, we would love your reviews. You can rate and review us over on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser. You could also just tweet at us. We just love hearing from you. Or join our Facebook group, Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces, where we continue the conversation about all the movies we talk about here on the show. And, I guess it would help if I gave you the Twitter handle, huh? So you could tweet at us. This is episode, I don't know, we have 144 regular episodes. Adding in all these specials, we're probably close to 200, if not over 200 at this point. So you should know our Twitter handle by now. But if you don't, it's at PiecingPod. So tweet at us, follow us, share us, do all that stuff. We really appreciate the support. So, with all that said, we got a lot of Piecing It Together coming your way this month, October, but also I am going to keep telling you guys about my new album, David Rosen. It's just self-titled. It's my 6th album, and it comes out October 4th, and next week, October 2nd, Friday, October 2nd, actually, I guess that's this week. It's later this week. I'm recording this a couple weeks ago, but, I have a special commentary episode of Piecing It Together where I talk about the new album while the music is playing, and you're going to be the first people to get a chance to listen to this new album. So I'm really excited to share that with you. The album will be available on iTunes. It'll be available on Amazon, on Bandcamp, everywhere music is available, also for streaming on like Spotify and Apple Music and all that. There's also going to be a limited edition CD. You can go to my website, buydavidrosen.com, to find out how to order that. Although I will tell you the best way to order that is on my Bandcamp profile, which is davidrosen.bandcamp.com. And if you order it on Friday, October 2nd, Bandcamp isn't going to take any cut from the sale. So I got to tell you, I would appreciate that. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, I like that Dave guy. He plays his music at the end of every episode of Piecing It Together. It's cool tracks. I like that. And you're thinking that you want to check out this new album, this Friday, set yourself a reminder. This Friday, October 2nd, buy the CD over at Bandcamp. They will not take any cut, and be able to, put that money towards some new music videos, some new music promotion, trying to continue to get this music out there. And the music feeds into the podcasts feed into the music, and it's just a whole circle of promoting the stuff that I am a part of. Awesome Movie Year too. So, yeah, new album coming out, special episode of Piecing It Together on Friday, October 2nd, playing the new album, and lots more Piecing It Together coming up, so make sure you're subscribed. And let's get into this conversation talking about some of these movies coming out in October. Jason Harris is back with us to look at some more movie trailers. How you doing, Jason?
Oh, Dave, I'm fine.
That's good. I'm happy to hear that you're fine. Fine is a good way to be in these trying times, these weird, strange times. I think people have been enjoying these trailer shows that you and I have been doing, and so it's time to look forward to October and some more trailers. We got 6 more lined up, like we've done these last 2 months. And obviously, we've got a lot of Halloween themes, horror kind of stuff, but also a lot of other just totally random things thrown in the mix, like the war with Grandpa, which we'll get to soon enough. But I think, we're going to have plenty to talk about. We might as well just jump right in to these movies. We're going to do them chronologically of release date again, like we've done the last 2 months. And starting not with a really Halloween themed, but a very strange looking movie and also a documentary, which is something we don't really cover too often here on the show. But it's called Dick Johnson is Dead. It's coming to Netflix October 2nd, and it looks like a weird but sweet kind of story about a woman dealing with her father's dementia. And so they set out to film reenactment, so to speak, of what his impending death might be like. What do you think about this one?
I'm really excited for this, Dave. As you know, I'm a huge documentary fan, and I try to push you to cover more documentaries on podcasts. And this year has been, I would say, better year documentary-wise than narrative film-wise, at least at the top of the heap right now. It's not
been some good stuff,
right? Not award season yet, so we'll see how that all shakes out. But this looks great. This count me in. I'm excited for this. So
yeah, and I mean, part of the reason we haven't done many documentaries is it's hard to really say when a documentary is inspired by other films as much as we'd love to cover it on the show, but this one, I don't know. It's such a weird concept that I think it's probably going to be uniquely situated where maybe we could cover it.
I think so. I mean, I was able, to find a few things that it reminded me of, both documentary-wise and narrative film-wise. So if you want me to jump in, I can.
What do you got?
The first one was, like you said, it's about an older man dealing with Alzheimer's or dementia. And so I thought of a really great documentary, which was that about famed singer Glenn Campbell, I'll Be Me. And they filmed him as his memory was going way downhill and he was still touring, and pretty powerful piece. Have you seen that movie?
I haven't. No, it sounds good.
Yeah, you should definitely check that one out.
Right on. And what else do you got for this one? Let's just do all back and forth.
Okay. Let's see. There's a documentary, very revered. I haven't watched it yet, but it's from years ago called First Cousin Once Removed. Similar about I think it was about a documentarian following his cousin, the famed personality Edwin Honig, and it's about him losing his memory. The two others I had was, and it's kind of funny because we always kind of joke about this, I put Groundhog Day in there because I think that, the time loop and losing track of time and what time means, it feels like that. And also there was like in this preview, like a montage of like different ways that he dies. And that of course reminds me of Groundhog Day. Totally. And then the last one, Dave, one documentary about a amazing performer at the end of her life was Elaine Stritch, Just Shoot Me. And I think she knew it was coming to the end and this was going to be like her last kind of salvo for the entertainment world. And that kind of had resonance for me.
I like it. Good ones. I also was thinking about Groundhog's Day as a possible influence.
Did you know it's just Groundhog Day? Everyone says Groundhog's Day.
I actually 100% knew that, and it still came out of my mouth the wrong way. I don't, Anyway, the other movies that I thought of while watching this, one of them, back in Charlie Kaufman territory, I thought of Synecdoche, New York. Just this kind of strange but funny look at just the inevitability of death and trying to kind of grasp it and deal with it in a strange, unique kind of way, which I think, the character that Philip Seymour Hoffman is playing is trying to make his mark in such a strange and unique way. And here we are also being very creative in the way that we're dealing with the finality of death. And then the other one, this is a completely different tone of movie, but I just thought of Deadpool and how once Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool figures out his whole power, how he's just dying over and over again, and we're getting that whole kind of montage of all of the death that this character is going to go through.
Yeah, I think those are all good pieces. And also, Dave, movies that we've talked about in the past, even as recently as I'm thinking of Ending Things, Charlie Kaufman, and
Sure.
Palm Springs, which we covered, and that kind of does that death time loop over and over. It all has pieces there. I didn't see Camera Person, which was the filmmaker's first movie. Did you see that movie?
I haven't. I know it's got a great reputation to it, though.
Yeah, we should probably watch that before this one comes out, Dave. Huh?
I think that would be a good plan. I'm going to attempt to do that, although we all
And
know how terrible I am.
It's Kristen Johnson. Is that her name? Right. That's I think
Yeah.
Kirsten Johnson.
Yeah.
That's the filmmaker. It looks good, man. So.
All right. Well, staying in Netflix territory, but with a slightly different tone, we move on to the next entry in Adam Sandler's huge Netflix lineup of these movies he makes and makes incredible amounts of money for. It's called Hubie Halloween. It comes out on October 7th. And it's about this oddball in this small town who's always trying to, I guess, protect his town during Halloween. And now it turns out there's actual monsters for him to protect the town from. This looks like he is really making good on his promise when he said if he didn't win the Oscar last year, he would make the worst movie ever. But that being said, the trailer did make me laugh a few times.
I'm really excited for it, shamefully so, perhaps. I was a big Sandman fan back as a teenager, and, you know, there have been a few times he's redeemed himself after he's gone downhill with the movies, and I still think his stand-up special was one of the best of the last few years. But this one... Great. You know what I like about this one is like they're leaning so hard into the concept. I think maybe I'm just looking at it with rose-colored Sandler glasses, but I feel like it could be good. Although it does worry me that we're not getting this Sandman, but instead we're getting this is Sandman. You know, so but
how old do you think he can be and still continue doing that?
Yeah, this is more of the Bobby Boucher Sandman, but you know, he's gone to that well a few times, hasn't he? So
he sure has. Yeah. Well, what do you got for your pieces here?
Well, I think the most obvious one. This takes place in Salem. It's a Halloween movie about saving the day. Hocus Pocus was the first one I thought of. Sure. I thought of 8 Crazy Nights because that was a Sandler movie where he really leaned into a holiday. One of the few Hanukkah movies out there, Dave.
That's true.
And then I got 2 more. Of course, he's got to save the day, save the town. So you think of the absolute Christmas classic, Home Alone, you know, for that. And the last one was Grumpy Cat's Worst Christmas Ever because I saw this preview and I was like, someone went in and they were like, Adam Sandler's going to do a Halloween movie. And the guy's like, yes, I'll greenlight it. And then I just thought someone was like, Grumpy Cat's going to do a Christmas movie. And they're like, yes, I'll greenlight it. Don't you want to read the script? No, don't worry about a script. Just make the movie.
It's perfect. It's exactly what we all want. That's what that guy said.
Yeah. So,
well, yeah,
I hope it's more along the lines of Home Alone than Grumpy Cat's Worst Christmas Ever, though. So.
Yeah, let's hope so. That is quite a wide range of puzzle pieces right there, I gotta say. You got 8 Crazy Nights in there. I will also use one Adam Sandler movie in mine, and that's Little Nicky, which I think we're kind of, you know, we're in that territory. Also, you know, just like the kind of more out there of Sandler's various projects, you know, and I don't know. It's funny when someone tries to kind of recapture something that they did in the past, but goes to the ones that are generally not as celebrated. You know what I mean?
I mean, if we're going through the celebrated canon of Adam Sandler, like I said, I hope this leans more towards the Bobby Boucher kind of man-child than the Little Nicky kind of man-child. So.
We will see. The other one I thought of was Scream and the David Arquette character as this kind of, you know, mentally challenged character who is, you know, trying to help the police, but the police don't really want his help, but he's obviously going to end up being kind of the hero of the series. So, you know, that whole kind of dynamic.
That crossed my mind. And speaking of documentaries, one of the documentaries that came out this year, David Arquette Will Not Die, about his return to professional wrestling, and
I heard it's
how
great.
it's not great. It did almost kill him though. So
Yeah.
so
All right. Oh, you know what? One other one that kind of just tone wise reminded me a little bit is the series Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Just kind of reminded me in that, and there's everything being surrounded, of course, Salem, and then like the whole just Halloween theme spread out for a whole thing. So just kind of reminded me tone wise of that.
it's weird, Dave, because every I think people know we're in Las Vegas. I feel like this year I'm looking forward. I like the holiday season. I feel like this year I'm almost looking forward to it more, maybe
Mhm.
because we haven't had like real life in so long. And I don't
Sure.
think the holidays are going to be real life. We're still not there, obviously, but like just little things like holiday movies, like I'm more excited for this than I should be, I think.
Well, hey, any chance to celebrate and not think about just the gloomy awfulness of reality that we've been in. So,
Yes. Why doesn't he make a movie called Calvin Coronavirus where he, beats the coronavirus for us? So
anything's possible. That Netflix will give him money for
it's
anything.
me,
So.
Calvin COVID-19.
Well, speaking of gloomy reality, it's time to move on to October 9th and a movie with Robert De Niro battling a little kid called The War with Grandpa, which is coming to theaters. I couldn't find information whether or not this is going to be on VOD the same day. I can't imagine they're going to try to make us go back to the theaters for this yet. But I don't know. I couldn't find any definitive answer on that. But apparently he is battling a kid for the bedroom that they both want or something like that. And it just looks absolutely ridiculous. And again, like Hubie Halloween, I actually did laugh at the trailer a couple times, I'm ashamed to say. But what did you think about this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's he moves in with his whatever daughter and her family, I think, and then they give him the kid's bedroom, and now the kid declares war with grandpa. And like when I was like, oh, that makes sense for like a good children's book,
Hmm.
but now it's a movie, and that's the end of my statement.
That's all you got to say. That covers it pretty much. This is a book, though, right? This is like a very popular kids thing, I think,
That's
already.
what I got out of the preview. I didn't do any more research on it because I didn't want to.
And I don't blame you one bit, Jason Harris. What do you got for your pieces for this?
Well, the first one I thought of was Daddy's Home, right, with
Hmm.
Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg, where they're fighting, for the love of the family, because that's got that kind of tone.
Hmm.
And then we've seen De Niro do this and this character before, but I was kind of thinking like this kind of did remind me a little of Grumpy Old Men because he teams up with the other old men,
Hmm.
one of which is Christopher Walken. I don't know, and Cheech Marin's in there, and Christopher Walken gives me another chance to do an impression on your show, Dave. So
Yeah, that was good. That was actually really good. You got it all in
yeah,
there.
there's all those old man last trip shows, but last trip movies. The two other movies, there's a really this one is not a comedy. There was a movie called Roommates in 1995 with D.B. Sweeney and Peter Falk about a old man who moves in with his grandkid, and they have to eventually see to eye. And the grandkid's an adult already, so I think that's going to be something. And then the last one, where I'm hoping it goes, Gran Torino.
Nice.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
I want De Niro and his friends to uh, raise hell on this kid.
Yeah, especially Christopher Walken. I do hope this movie leans in and maybe it's obviously one of these kid movie things, but I mean I hope it leans into the absolute craziness. I had for pieces I had Home Alone just because it kind of seems like they're gonna set some traps and stuff like that,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
try to drive each other nuts that way. And then also just I mean I would say this movie itself is inspired by De Niro's various forays into these kid comedies, but I thought of the Vin Diesel one, The Pacifier, and just this tough guy having to deal with kids. These movies are so, it's just such a simple concept. Whether or not the execution comes off can really, totally make or break something like this because it's such a bad idea on paper. But hey, hopefully it's fun. I mean, especially with those old guys being together in this.
Well, yeah, I watched two of them this year. I watched My Spy with Dave Bautista.
Mm.
And just for the record, I have a daughter who's young, so a 6-year-old. So if you're thinking I'm just going out and watching these for no reason, you're mistaken. My Spy's not bad, simple concept. And then the other one I watched was that one on Netflix, The Sleepover, where like Malin Ackerman plays like a thief who's like in witness relocation, and then her family has to save her. And it's like, who am I rooting for? This lifelong thief, or the other thieves? Like that one was really bad. So this one, like you said, really simple. Hopefully they just keep it that simple where it's like two people one-upping each other the whole time, and that's it.
So next up on our list, a movie heading straight to premium VOD. It is called Love and Monsters. It comes out October 16th. And it looks like one of these kind of I don't know, like kind of like a classic adventure set amongst monsters and kids and love, and it looks kind of fun to me. I mean, I am a sucker for movies with big crazy monsters. What do you think about this one?
At first I was like, what am I watching? But then it did become kind of fun. I'm like, all right, I'm in for this one where it's, the apocalypse happens and monsters take over and the kid has to like go find his girlfriend, right? And he's probably like 16. And I think back of when I was in high school and had the apocalypse happen and I tried to find my high school girlfriend, I'd have been like, man, what a waste. Knowing how it turned out, Dave. Like, why did I do that? So
yeah, you could have been foraging for supplies, but no.
Yeah, after it turned out as it did, I should have just given her to the monsters. So
yeah, nice diversionary tactic. Or
yeah, just be like, you try dealing with her monsters.
What do you got for your pieces here?
I think we're probably going to overlap here. First one I thought of course, was Zombieland. Apocalypse happens, and people have to cross the country finding their family. I thought of another zombie movie because it was a love story, and I thought it was such a good movie, which was Warm Bodies, that kind of like post-apocalyptic love comedy. And then there's a show on Netflix that I watched with my little kiddo there called The Last Kids on Earth. And it's literally the exact same premise where it's like the apocalypse happens and some dude's like, I got to find the girl I have a crush on. And it's a cartoon. So there you go. Those are my three. Leave me alone.
Those are good pieces. Definitely thought about Zombieland. Also thought of A Quiet Place. Just kind of the tone of it seems similar. The way it's shot kind of seems similar, and a little bit of the creature design as well kind of seems similar. And another one I thought of was Cloverfield, because we're in the midst of this big giant monster thing, and the main story is trying to rescue the girl that he's in love with. So
sure, and A Quiet Place is, of course, what they refer to your Patreon as, because you have so few subscribers.
Zing.
Internet joke, bang!
There's the audiogram for this episode right there. So, moving on to our next movie. This one's going to Hulu on October 23rd. It is called Bad Hair, and it seems to be a creepy horror concept about I don't know, this one's kind of weird. It seems to be set in like a barber shop, and there is some kind of like creepy supernatural thing going on with the hair here. What do you think about this?
Did you watch Dear White People, Justin Simeon's first movie?
I have not. No, I know it's very acclaimed though.
Yeah, it's really good. You should watch it. Like
I will before I see this thing.
Yeah, I got to watch the series, but like I'm really excited about him as a filmmaker, and he's telling Black stories through a very modern lens, and I think this will continue on with that rise of Black horror films, which I know was one of the reasons he was looking to do this. I've listened to interviews with him. He's really well versed in film history, so I'm excited to see anything he does, and Like this isn't necessarily like, oh, what I would like if I could pick a project for him, but like if this is the project he wants to do, I definitely want to see it. So
Yeah,
uh,
it feels like it's going to be very satire and like, so that at least leaves the room, like leaves it open for like a lot of influence, a lot of interesting things, even if it seems a little silly on paper.
yeah, but also it's like, we as white dudes, one with a Jufro you and one bald
Sure.
me, like we really don't understand, kind of black women's hair as
Sure.
so for us to kind of, you know, the premise is definitely maybe a little outside of our norm, but like, kind of with like weaves and this and that. But like it's definitely something that I think will reach a wider audience than just, people who go to the beauty shops like that, men, women,
Sure.
white, black, whatever, So it
Sure.
looks fun. It looks fun. So
What do you got for pieces on this?
obviously, I picked Get Out because that kind of kicked off this renaissance of black horror films. Jordan Peele.
Mhm.
I picked the Chris Rock documentary Good Hair, which is all
Yes.
about the importance of black women's hair, weaves, different styles, what means what in that kind of world of beauty and what's important. And then the last one I picked was a horror movie about a different body part, Teeth, which is about a biting
Ah,
vagina that mercilessly takes its victims, vagina
that
style.
that is certainly another body part that could go violent and scary.
In real life too, depending on who you know.
So I didn't have Teeth on my list, although I see where you're coming from. Certainly, I definitely had considered Get Out, especially just the kind of general creepy vibe. It has the same kind of, and not just the cast being predominantly African American, of course, but also just the creepiness factor. It seems to be coming from a similar place of everybody's kind of all smiles and everything's just a little off in a way instead of it being like big jump scares or anything like that. So I thought that kind of similar scariness. And then also, yeah, Good Hair obviously is a good one there. I also thought of In Fabric, the Peter Strickland A24 horror film about a killer dress, which
Mm.
again, another kind of strange thing to be a killer blank, but kind of in that same realm of fashion kind of hair exists in. So I thought of that one too.
So, Dave, you have any real life vagina horror stories you want to share with us?
Moving on to our next movie. On October 23rd as well. This one's coming to Apple Plus. Finally, something coming to Apple Plus. Our subscriptions will actually get used. It is On the Rocks, reteaming Bill Murray with Sofia Coppola. Also co-produced by A24, I believe. And it looks like a sweet father-daughter kind of relationship movie. It's kind of like I don't know, like kind of a straightforward comedy almost in a way. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, it looks a little lighter than some of the fare we know Sofia Coppola for. And it's a dad and a daughter. And, they seem to get along fine, although there seems to be a few boundaries between them, right? And the dad and the daughter think that maybe the daughter's husband, which is Rashida Jones, and that the husband, played by Marlon Wayans, might be cheating on her, and then they kind of start to follow him, and to find out the truth. So, hey, hooray! It looks fun. We're gonna watch anything Sofia Coppola does.
Exactly. Exactly. And I mean, especially that team up coming back together after all these years. It looks so light, like you said, but at the same time, there's no way I'm gonna miss this.
Yeah,
So
it kind of felt like if like Noah Baumbach was on Valium or something like that. So.
that works. Yeah, absolutely. Is that the first of your pieces here? Noah
Yeah,
Baumbach
no,
on Valium?
it's not. But one film that I've talked to you about, and I believe probably on your podcast before, The Day Trippers, Greg Mottola, which is a great movie, and we should be covering it on some either yours or my podcast. I keep pushing for it,
Yeah.
And it is about a family that thinks the husband is having an affair, and they follow him to New York and see what's what. And it's kind of like, this leads to this, and the dialogue is so smart and funny, and the casting is so good. Of all the movies we've mentioned today, I feel like maybe that's the one I really want to recommend because everyone knows Home Alone and stuff like that, which is still a great
Right.
movie, right? But The Day Trippers is awesome. I love that movie. Another movie that I love, which of course involves Bill Murray and some type of different love triangle, was Rushmore. So this
Sure.
one involves a husband, a daughter, and a father. That one, of course, involves a married man, a student, and the teacher. So it's different, obviously, paternal love, but I'm excited to see anything Bill Murray does ever, and it's nice that they're reteaming Sofia Coppola and Bill Murray.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I had thought of Rushmore as well. And The Day Trippers is on my watch list. I know we've talked about maybe doing like a missing pieces episode on it or something like that. I definitely am looking forward to watching that. The other ones I had, I like we've been saying, it looks strangely light. I thought of like a Nancy Myers thing, like maybe like something's got to give, but instead of it being a relationship between the older guy and the aging but still younger woman, it's a father daughter relationship instead. So kind of that kind of tone. I also thought of Easy A, because of the just kind of quirky quickness back and forth relationship between this father and daughter, which in Easy A is Emma Stone and Stanley Tucci, which is a really fun kind of not realistic but fun portrayal of a relationship between.
That is a fun movie, and Stanley Tucci plays the husband in Day Trippers that they're trying to
Oh,
track down. So
nice. There you go. There's connections all around there. So right on. Well, that's our 6 movies to look forward to in October, and of course, there are plenty of others, that we could have covered here. But I think that gives us a nice little list to look forward to. Um, as for last month's, for our September episode, the movies we talked about Critical Thinking, The Owners, I'm Thinking of Ending Things, The Devil All the Time, Kajillionaire, and Enola Holmes. Those last two still aren't out. They're coming out soon at the time of recording this. But what about those first 4? Did you watch any of those?
I did watch 2 of the first 4, and I think I'll be watching Enola Holmes this week. And Kajillionaire is just going to theaters, isn't it? For now, or
I think it actually will be on VOD. There was like some kind of like special screening that you could sign up for, and it sold out right away. But I think that is probably a sign that they'll have it on VOD as
well, that's
well.
exciting. That's good. I watched. I'm thinking of ending things, and I watched. What was the one you mentioned? Oh, The Devil All the Time.
Those are the
And
two I watched as
I
well.
liked them both. Like I didn't understand. I'm thinking of ending things. I think a lot of people feel that way. Once it was explained to me, I kind of understood it, but I don't necessarily think it um, realized that in the film, like
Hmm.
what it was going for, and it kind of fell apart for me in Act Three. But I know people love it, and maybe I'll watch it again someday. I did like the first 2/3 of it quite a bit.
Okay.
Devil All the Time, I also liked. I think that's the first kind of like Oscar bait drama of the season. I don't think it'll get any nominations, but I did like how kind of sprawling and kind of encompassing of this kind of coal miner town and just kind of area it takes place in. Although I do think they could have easily cut 20 to 30 minutes and had just as an effective movie.
I think that's fair. And yeah, those are the two that I watched as well. Of course, I'm Thinking of Ending Things. We did do an episode on it. So, everyone listening, if you haven't heard it yet, make sure to check that out. Not sure if we'll do one on The Devil All the Time, possibly, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. Like you said, it is a little long. It's a little convoluted too, I think, but some great performances packed in there. And, you know, uh, I tend to like any movie that's critical of religion. So
I thought you were going to say any movie with Robert Pattinson because you're
I,
a
I
fanboy.
I think that's probably a fair statement as well, too. I don't know that I've not liked anything he's been in so far.
Twilight?
So I haven't seen them really. I mean, I kind of did. I watched them half asleep, but I watched them enough to say that I've watched them. But
All right, whatever.
Yeah,
But
whatever.
no, those were
Exactly.
good, and maybe we'll do a quick add-on on Enola Holmes this week before you put this out. So.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. So, hey, Jason, why don't you tell people about Awesome Movie Year and whatever else you got going on?
Awesome Movie Year season 5. We're just wrapping it up. We're moving into season 6 soon, which is exciting. We'll have an announcement on what that year is going to be. But we are finishing 1977 right now. By the time this is released, we'll only have really just 2 to 3 more episodes out there. Each season, we take a different year. We break it down why it was an awesome movie year. We do the best picture, some other award winners, of box office flop. Both you and my co-host Josh Bell get your own picks, and I get my own pick in there. And then we just cover some random things: future cult classic, documentary, foreign film. I'm really proud of it, and you're doing a good job producing it, Dave.
Oh, thank you so much, Jason.
And
Everybody
if you
check that out.
yeah, it's all over this wherever you get this podcast. We're also on the web, awesomemovieyear.com, Awesome Movie Year on Facebook and Instagram, Awesome Movie Pod on Twitter. I'm Jason Harris Comedy on Facebook and Instagram, J Harris Comedy on Twitter, and my website, Go for Jason, is the Hubie Halloween of websites.
That it is. That it is. So, Jason, as always, thank you so much for being here. I'm glad we're continuing to do this series, and we will see what's happening in November.
Cool.
Hey, I'm Josh Bell.
I'm Jason Harris. Hey, Josh, we're friends in real life, but we're also co-hosts on this new podcast called
Awesome Movie Year, where we take a look back at an awesome year for movies and do a deep dive looking at movies including the Best Picture winner, the biggest movie at the box office, future cult classics, and more.
Including the biggest flop. And this season, we're doing 1994. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts. That could be Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or Spotify. We're all over the web as well at Awesome Movie Year on all the socials and awesomemovieyear.com. So please like us, subscribe, and if you do like us, give us a 5-star rating because we love you.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that conversation about some of the movies coming out in October 2020. And, there's actually another movie I found out about just after. I mean, obviously, there's plenty more movies coming out in October, but this one in particular looks really great. It's coming out October 9th. It's called The Wolf of Snow Hollow, starring, written, and directed by Jim Cummings. And I don't know, it just looks really good. I'm really excited for this one, and would have included it on our roundup if I knew about it before recording time. But hey, we can't cover everything, right? But maybe we'll get to cover this one on a full episode later this month. So thanks as always to Jason Harris for stopping by. Make sure you are listening to Awesome Movie Year. I believe when this goes up, they're going to be on the final episode of their 5th season and going into their 6th season, and that is awesome. There is so much Awesome Movie Year to check out if you haven't yet. All 5 of those original seasons, and the new one coming up is going to be really exciting. I can't quite give away the year yet, but the answer to what the next year will be is coming up on their season end epilogue episode. So definitely keep an ear out for that. And if you want to hear even more Awesome Movie Year and even more Piecing It Together and more of my music, you should check out our Patreon. I have a Produced by David Rosen Patreon, which combines all of the music and podcast related stuff I've got going on into one big Patreon. It's patreon.com/bydavidrosen. And on there are bonus episodes from Awesome Movie Year. There are advanced episodes of Piecing It Together. And for a limited time only, if you sign up for at least the $5 level of the Patreon, you will get a copy of my new album for free as part of the sign up as a bonus. Now, of course, I told you at the top of the show to go buy the album on Bandcamp, and I appreciate that if you do that, because that is a great way to buy the album and certainly get, my full share without Bandcamp getting any of their cut. But I'm especially excited to grow this Patreon because the bigger it grows, the more subscribers we get, the more content we are going to make for it. I will definitely be able to get the Awesome Movie Year guys to make more content for it. I will be able to rope in some great guests for some extra bonus piecing it together stuff. All Rice No Beans, we're going to record more stuff. And of course, I have a lot of other music I can release, stuff that is not on albums yet, that I can start putting together some special Patreon only exclusive releases. So go sign up. We really appreciate the support, and you will, for this limited time only, get a free copy of my new album if you do sign up for the $5 level on up. They go up to $20, I think. Starts at $1 though. If you don't want the free thing and you just want to throw a little support our way, we appreciate that too. So you can, other than that, follow us on social media at Piecing Pod. We appreciate every time you share our podcast. It really helps to get the word out. And join our Facebook group, Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces, where we continue the conversation about all the movies we talk about here on the show. And that about does it for today. I am going to close this one out with the song Multiply from my new album. This is the new music video that's out there. I'm sure I played it recently on the show, but I do want you to go check out this music video because it's super cool. It was created by this visual effects artist named Tobias Steiner, and it's just a really cool pulsating kind of ambient track, although it does pick up in the second half. But I'm really proud of this piece of music. I'm proud of the video. You can find it on my website, bydavidrosen.com, or on my YouTube channel. And I will be playing tracks from this new album, David Rosen, a lot in the coming weeks as I continue to promote this thing. So if I played it recently, here it is again. This is Multiply.
an All Points West production, produced by David Rosen in Las Vegas.